Hey, I think, is my audio working? I think I can hear you.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Right on. What have you been up to?
Just in the last 5 minutes, I played like a rapid chess game, like 2+1 chess game, and it like went back and forth, and then I won in the end. So I'm gonna use that footage. I'll append that footage to the beginning of this episode.
Yeah. I ended up deleting RuneScape and the SimCity game that I was playing. So the idea is instead of doing like mindless game shit in my time, I'm gonna be like learning and putting my time into like how to grow money or make money. And that's gonna be like what I do when I have the passive time or anything going. So like yeah, like the RuneScape was lots of work. I have the file in the cloud, but I know putting time into that, screw it.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's hard to find like I found it's often hard to find a sense of fulfillment though in just doing anything, like especially like the pursuit of money. I find that can get kind of tiresome, and then we look to other things to entertain us, like games or whatever. But I've sort of, for now, I've still settled on like non-monetized art is the thing that makes me feel the most fulfilled. And I even have to go as far as to like I have to like intentionally not monetize stuff that I do, even though it wouldn't really make money if I tried to use it to make money. But with this intentional, like, not trying to make money mindset, I find that rewards me with like the most fulfillment when I do different things. But I don't know. Hopefully you find some like fulfillment that aligns with making money, I guess. But it's hard to know if we're tricking ourselves or not when we do something. If we're making money doing something, then we're not really sure if we like to do it or not. We just get this other form of feedback, and then we end up maybe feeling not fulfilled, or maybe lying to ourselves or something.
Yeah, like don't get me wrong, I don't actually want to make money. I just want automated income. I don't want to do anything. No, but like seriously, like part of having automated income is understanding like how to have people sell your stuff for you, how to like the different steps in the process in the business model. And looking at that 4-hour work week, well, reading that book and coming across a diagram that McDonald's used and Blockbuster used, like one part of that diagram was affiliate marketing, for instance. And so I was like looking at that to figure out how that actually works and what goes into it. And then we talked about that last time. And it's pretty much pyramid scheme, but that's affiliate marketing. So actually, no, it's not. You gave me the correct definition, but they're calling it that. So like that could be like 40% of the cost of, or rather the what you bring in income wise. That's quite a big chunk of that income, and that's one component of an automated business model. So like I want to understand how each of the components work and like investigate it, so I know how to implement it when I actually have an idea. And yeah, it's just like a fun exercise that's very, very expensive. Like I have a way of marketing. I'm able to create fake followings, and numbers attract numbers kind of thing. And then when I have the fake followings, it creates credibility. And then when someone like looks me up when I put out the marketing on Facebook or whatever else, they'll see that Justin Leck is like super popular with 5,000-6,000 followers, and he looks good with a suit and a Lamborghini. So it's like credibility, and they'd be like, "Oh, I'm gonna buy this guy's item because he knows what he's talking about." And it's like, how do you become a millionaire? Well, you get $1 million, right? How do you become credible? Well, you get credentials or you get a following, and you don't. It doesn't just happen. You got to get something in order to become credible. So I found a way, like I found a hack, and I'm gonna use that hack because why the hell not?
I guess, yeah. I would wonder though. I feel like with your like the talent that I've seen that you have for like playing piano, like music, I feel like that's a real thing that you could monetize, and that's something that actually people can really use. Like a lot of people are looking for music for a lot of different things, and I feel like maybe you might end up not needing the hack. Like you just have an actual resource that you can deliver to people by like giving them music in different forms. Like people need music for videos and music for games and like music for film and movies, and just people will buy music directly. There's so many use cases for music, and I still find music is very hard to get. Like when I'm creating content and I just need music for the content, it's so hard to find music and get music. And so I feel like there's a lot of demand for like music that one can like pay money for and then use, and that does generate like recurring income too. If you have like the rights or the copyright to a song and it's in like a movie or a game, then you'll get some kind of royalties. I've heard that music industry is like famous for like the royalties being small, but at least it's one industry that does have like recurring royalties, essentially for free after you've gotten your music into something. So I'd be pretty interested to see if you could work something like that, like get recurring income just directly through like, the quality of your own music, or making some connections, and and then that not only would that bring in money, but it's like totally legit, and the fame is real as well. And that would be, I feel like that would be the ultimate, the cheating it is just kind of like a way to get money. But at the end of the day, like, I think what many of us are like looking for in life is people to appreciate like the stuff we're doing, and just having the money might get, the followers, but they're not really. But if you can say like, I created this, song and people enjoy it and they follow you and they can point to that as the reason, then that feels much more like it makes one feel good. It gets the money, it gets the followers, you have a real influence or something. I feel like that's the real goal in some sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I can't do it for the purpose of, I can't play a composed piano for the purpose of making money. Once I
feel like that's a good point. That's the hardest challenge. I don't know how. I mean, I'd be surprised. I would be interested in seeing you solve that challenge, because it would be kind of interesting if we could align those things better.
It's basically just going to have to be, I produce stuff because I'm inspired. I put it on YouTube. I have a following. If I get lucky and I get the right amount of, if I get exposure and I get picked up by the algorithm as being some new YouTuber, and I get lots of views, then I can monetize that. But like, for me to go, one of my coworkers had the idea that I go and do weddings and funerals, and the friends that have heard me play want me to play at their funeral, and they say that, right? And I'm like, sure, I'll do that for a friend. But for me to go around and be like a wedding player, I'm not playing other people's shit, man. I'm not going to play the traditional wedding song. I'm going to make something for that friend that inspires me. But a stranger won't do that for me. So, like, that's a way to make money, but nah. I can just make something up on the spot, but then I'm just going to be mindlessly creating songs. So tonight, when I go back, I'm actually on my way home, and I'm using hands-free right now. In a crazy, so I'm going to talk about the Burning Man event that I went to, Sideburn.
Oh, right. That's already happened now. I would like to hear about that.
Yeah, man. So like, I've been just nonstop since, busy with this and that, and trying to get organized, and I went into work, and let me get into that in a second. But yeah, I've been very busy. So like, I committed to make a piano song, to compose a piano song for somebody that I met at the Sideburn, someone I connected really, really well with, who just like the whole event inspired me and has changed me. But then meeting this person, somebody who's actually, who I think who could be my person, this could actually be partner material. This person could be partner material. And I committed to her saying, like, I'm inspired. I'm going to create a song for you. And because I have that, like, the feeling and inspiration right now, I'm going to do it tonight. And I'm going to actually, like, show her with the video the composing process. And then the final piece, like, I'll send her the 2 videos, the big video, which will be about 60 minutes. I could probably play a song that when I'm inspired, I could probably play a song really quick. and compose it really fast because the music just flows through the fingers. Like, I don't understand. But I could show the process and how I developed the song, send her the completed piece, which will be about a minute snip. And then as time goes on and if our relationship builds, I will complete the song. The song will grow. And I will continue to develop the song for her. And she'll get the different segments combined until she gets the full song. And yeah, maybe one day I'll be able to play it for her. So that's on the books. So I'm cramming in a lot tonight. I'm going to pay for it tomorrow with a little bit of sleep debt, but you know, I said I was going to do something, I need to do it.
That sounds like a pretty fun process. Like, it's obviously like a very personal, you know, it's like very personal, very intimate, but at the same time, that does sound like, you know, it's sort of cheesy, but like spin that around and turn it into content. And you have, you know, a very emotional piece of content that I think like a lot of people will be fascinated with. And at the same time too, it shows that like, you know, essentially like before you met that person recently, they were just a stranger. But like you know, you met someone, you resonated with them, and then all of a sudden you can compose like a very personal song for them. And I feel like that's like a reproducible pattern of sort of like, and maybe it, like my interest in all of this is that maybe it leads to like this beauty where we can see value, that same level of value and attachment to any random stranger, that's the interesting part for me is like, can we just find a random person who, you know, maybe even at the start repels us a little bit, and then you know, we sort of learn about them and we talk with them and then end up like sort of writing like their song, you know, in the same way we can for other people. I feel like that's my personal fascination with it. But yeah, it sounds like that's a really fun like activity there. But do you feel like an urge to sort of you know, put that out there to a wider audience rather than just one person, or does it feel like too much of a personal sort of thing?
She'll get like fuck it, I could probably put it out there. She'll definitely get the completed piece. I could put the completed piece out there. I could show people how I could create it where it's like, so this is how I create or compose a song. I guess I could use her name, like, hey Rachel, this is how I create. Like I could do that, or I can like leave out her name, have the process. She knows it's for her because of the timing and like when I made it, and then that way both videos can be viewed. So
yeah, I've seen like, it makes me the system that I think of is like, you publish like the 1 minute song sort of anonymous on your YouTube channel, and then whatever people on your YouTube channel find it, you then pitch to them like, join my Patreon, where they pay, like, because Patreon is a site that's like, you know, everybody pays like $5 a month to have some bonus content for the creators they follow. And so then if you set up a system where like some people who liked your music would pay like $5 a month to then have to unlock these like bonus posts where you give them like the video where you made the song. And those people, you know, if they're paying you $5 a month, they're probably responsible, they're probably interested, and maybe they're even musicians themselves. And then you create like this community where there's a bunch of people, you know, like 100 people or so paying $5 a month to get these 60, you know, maybe once a month you release like a 60-minute video and a story, and you say like, I met this person, you know, this is our relationship, this is the process of writing the song, and then like the final 1 minute song maybe is public on your YouTube channel to draw in people. But that sounds like a pretty healthy community. If like, it's very hard to start something like that, I've heard, but you know, and it has to grow like very slowly over time. But I've seen like online communities that are pretty connected, where, you know, everybody's kind of gathered around this one creator, and they're pretty engaged with, like, you know, they want to support financially the creator to keep getting delivered like these, you know, in this case like personal stories about creating songs, but also they're learning at the same time. It could, like, I don't know, when I envision something like that, like obviously that's like the perfect version of events. Like, you typically it would stay around like, you know, 5-10 followers for like a year or two, and you have to grow it really slowly. But that sounds like a pretty fun thing to aim for. If like, what do you think about something like that?
Yeah, man. I'm gonna start with see if I can actually get some people on YouTube first, and then that's a great idea because I basically when I'm set up, I'm just letting the camera roll, and
Yeah.
like, it can be a long process. I could have like an hour of video or 2 hours of video, and then I trim it down for the you can see, and then you can like there's a lot of repetition. And I'll play stuff over and over again. You can see how it evolves and like where I make mistakes and how I tweak it based off of like what I'm hearing. And then you can see like it's sort of mechanical and me just smashing notes, and then all of a sudden something clicks, and then you feel the passion. And like I'm like there's powerful, there's rhythm, and it just sort of happens. And that's how it always happens with all my songs. And
Yeah.
you can just watch it evolve and then sort of transform into, or a part of that song transform into something that is like captivating. It doesn't mean like I can produce a song like immediately right off the bat. Now for my cousin Aria, when I was talking to her, she had like this youthful energy, and that inspired me. And I was like, I'm gonna make you a song right now. You inspired me. She's on the phone, and I make a song, and I literally made it. It was 95% done with her on the line. It's like, okay, now I'm gonna go record it, and I smashed it off in 15 minutes, and like, here we go. This is called "Song for Aria," and like some of my greatest critics, people who like tear my shit apart, were like, this is a masterpiece. And it took me 15 minutes to do, pretty much. Like, because it just flowed. And it's not the typical verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, final or whatever. There's no formula to it. It's just me playing what came to mind, and I just gradually developed it. So, yeah, anyway, that aside, I like your idea. I can eventually get to that point, but then it's like, no, I can get to that point. I mean, the content's already going to be there. I'm just going to save the videos, and then when I get enough following, then I'm going to create the Patreon side. So thanks for that.
I mean, there's another step too. I'll just interject with a quick thing, like, because ultimately you can stream it live on Twitch. You just like, I think Twitch app will work with a phone. You just same setup as the phone, filming yourself, but it just goes directly live to Twitch, and there's people in chat, and they can pay. Like the way Twitch works is anyone can watch your stream where you're just playing music, you're writing a song, you're talking to, like, chat will post questions, you can engage with them, and then people will watch ads during your stream, or they can pay like $5 a month to have your stream be ad free, I think is how it is. But then basically what you can do is like you do this event where, you know, people logging into YouTube, logging into Twitch, they'll see that like you're live playing music, and you can gain a following. But then once you're done, you can just save the Twitch video and publish that video on YouTube for later, or you can put that behind a paywall on Patreon. And then you have this whole pipeline of like, here's the Twitch live event, but then you can hear my other songs on YouTube. And if you want, you can get all my past videos that I've, you know, if you weren't here to catch me live, you get all my past song, you know, production videos on Patreon. And then you have this pipeline of like, you know, the live event every once in a while, the YouTube catalog, and then the behind the scenes content on Patreon. But Twitch is making money because people are subscribing. YouTube is making money from like the views and the ads, and Patreon is making money because people are just paying you directly. So you have like, that's like 3 streams of revenue, and it's all just the same content. Like, you know, it's just you playing piano in front of an audience on Twitch of however big. And then, it's like this multiplying thing. And then you put,
Okay, so I can tell you're very passionate about this, and you're also like able to execute, and you execute well. You might as well just be my manager, man, and take whatever chunk that you think is reasonable out of that. You set it all up, and you make it happen. You post the videos, you create it, you take whatever profit. You take a good chunk of the profit, man. You might as well. I mean, this is something you're good at. Why? Like, it's all about empowering people for what their strengths are. Your strength is all this stuff. My strength is composing shit. So why don't we just like unite, and you do your thing, and you take a good chunk of that value, what you think is your time is worth, and you know, it's actually going to help facilitate the process for me, because I just want to make content because I want to share it with people.
I don't know. I like all this advice that I throw out. This is just stuff that I know from like.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just seen you, like, you did the YouTube thing for this. You have like intro music. You did like an image. Like you're good at that stuff. And
Yeah, I guess
you actually,
like for me, I think I take for granted like that I'm good with like technology, and often I assume that like everyone else can just kind of also be good at like technology, because that's sort of like I'm not like really passionate about like churning out YouTube videos. It's more like I want to make content as well, but like and then publish it as cheaply as possible, basically. And then I happen to know how to use YouTube and stuff like to support that. Twitch, I don't know much as many of the details about in terms of how to get good audio quality and stuff on there.
I'm
But
not
that is
worried,
something that
man.
I'm interested in. Yeah, like that
Yeah,
is if I can find I am trying to find like a reason to stream more myself. And if I did, then I would be better at streaming and I could sort of advise more specifically. But I think I don't know, I wouldn't really because I'm very passionate about like doing stuff in such a sustainable way that it doesn't have to be like it doesn't have to I don't have to charge money for it because I can just sort of do it so easily that it just happens. And that's the point I'd want to get to with this, where like, I'll just focus on I'll actually try to develop a pipeline like this for myself, just in the easiest way possible. And then I can sort of just advise, like probably on these calls, I would just advise you like how to slowly tweak your setup to like kind of make it into that sort of pipeline,
yeah,
perhaps without,
man.
yeah.
No, you develop the pipeline, and then you become my manager, and you take money, like based off whatever I make. Anyway, let's think about it. I mean, once you have it set up, it's gonna probably be very easy for you. It's not that I don't want to learn. It's just that making the content is a lot of work in itself, and I can tell you right now, the bottleneck for me getting the shit out there is creating the YouTube shit and doing the formatting of the video and uploading it and tweaking it and blah 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 blah. Like that's the stuff that is the bottleneck. I produce songs all the flipping time. I just don't put it up there. Anyway, that aside,
Yeah.
just a crazy idea that we can both benefit from. I get my stuff out there, you can get some money, but you also get to continue to practice your skills, learning new platforms and getting things out there. Why not become a manager? Like, you seem to have that drive. You seem to know the stuff. You want to learn stuff that other people probably don't want to learn. But don't have too long. Do you want to talk about the sideburn thing?
Yeah, the more details you can give me, I'm interested to hear anything.
Okay, first off, everybody and their dog needs to go to this thing. Bring the kids too. Okay,
But it's not just
'cause,
one thing, right? These sideburns are all over. Like there probably is one near me that I could look into.
sideburns, festivals, yeah. So
Yeah.
basically, like these kind of festivals where artistic, like-minded people come together. Why I like the burns, the sideburn is like coming from the Burning Man. It's because there's no advertising. It's all about gift giving. You go and you're self-sufficient. There's radical acceptance. There's it forms a community, right? And it's a way to experiment. Some people experiment with psychedelics and other drugs. Others for others it's a social experiment. Like for me, I went there to build community and to try to show my authentic self and start to peel off the layers that the trauma forged layers that I have gained over time. I am one armored dude, man. And when you combined like my past growing up as a child with the military stuff, yeah, people can just smell military off me. They can smell like professional and organized and disciplined, and it's not. I'm all that stuff, but I don't want to be like for the first impression. I don't want people to be on guard. I want people to be open with me, and I want to be able to show my true colors, right? So,
Yeah.
going to this event, like part of it too is like I'm so afraid of rejection and being hurt that my childhood trauma of being bullied into the ground, literally beaten into the ground because I was fat, and I was called a fatty in the pool. It made it so that I had body image issues, and I'm terrified to take off my shirt. I'm thinking about going to the beach Thursday, and I'm even afraid. Like I'm jacked, man. I'm jacked with like
Yeah.
maybe a little bit of fat on my tummy and a little bit on my chest, but compared to the rest of the population, I'm jacked, straight up, and I'm afraid to take my shirt off. And I'm going to do it Thursday. I'm going to keep pushing these boundaries because I believe we got to push through fear in order to get out of the comfort zone, get out of the fear zone because there's a fear zone, to get into the learning, into the growth zone. And
Yeah,
so
that's good.
the sideburn or the burning man is an opportunity for you to express yourself with people who are like-minded, who are accepting for the most part. There's a few people who gave me the cold shoulder and who were not interested in talking. You're gonna get those types, the types that aren't
Mhm.
truly in tune with the principles of the Burning Man, and that's fine. You get 500 people and 1% aren't so great, then that's not too bad. Uh, and like literally, it was five. It was. Did I say 5%? It was more like 1%. It was like 5 people I came
Yeah.
across that were really abrasive, and that I was like, "Why the fuck are you here?" But I never said that because I'm not an asshole.
I
But I
guess
was
they're
thinking,
learning too. They're learning how to chill.
yeah, but I mean, 3-4 days in, they should be chilled by then. I mean, like, so, I'm doing this thing, and it's just like one thing. Like, I just like, hey, let's go for a stroll. And next thing you know, it's an adventure. And we go to these different camps that are themed, and they have these offerings, these gifts. Like, there's like virtual reality set up in the field with generators. Then there's like this
Uh,
bar you walk into called the Magpie or Magpie. I think it was Magpie, and it's for 4 people at a time. And then you have like you're in this intimate bar that looks like something from the 1970s. No, sorry, 1930s, like old school, and it has like a bunch of treasures in the back behind the bartender. And they have like these drinks. One was like Death in the Afternoon. Like there's different ones that were just like you wouldn't see in the real world. It's like custom drinks and very potent too. And while they are serving you the drinks, there's like what was the egg? It was some sort of like pickled egg that was small. I don't remember what it was. But you're eating these like snacks, and then you can ask the bartender about the items behind him or her. And we had this dude, and his name was Iceman, because some people have aliases, and he was just the most eccentric storyteller, and he was making shit up, obviously, but it was just so well done that was like he just put words together, and it was entertaining. Like it just didn't. If you tried to like describe this to somebody and tell this story, they'd be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Like, but it was just the way he did it was so well done. Like, yeah, it
yeah,
was
it
just a
makes me
cool.
wish that stuff like that happened in regular society. I wish that like if I just went out and walked on the street, I would have like experiences like that. And
Yeah.
but it's cool that someone's doing it somewhere.
So like the first night I was there, I volunteered for 6 hours. Right when I landed doing the sanctuary thing, it was basically just set up because everybody's sober or just getting into the place. So I'm hanging out, and I'm hanging out. I went over to the first aiders, and I'm sitting with one of them who apparently like is from Ottawa, who's like one of the leads over here. I didn't even know that. And I'm just talking to this person, and then people are walking by and just like gravitating towards this person because everybody knows them. And while that's happening, I'm being introduced. I'm meeting this person, this person, this person, this person. So that taught me volunteering is good, and you get to meet people. And that night I just like kind of went out to check out one little thing, and I came across some people that were familiar with me, and they're like, "Come tag along, let's go check out different places." And it was just like one adventure after another, and next thing you know, I'm at the top of the effigy that was going to be burned Saturday, and I'm
Oh yeah.
hanging up there, and people are coming up and kind of like rotate. You can have 10 at a time, so I'm just chilling up there, and then came across like this Swedish couple of dudes that were kind of younger, and just different people, all with their own story. And I was like, one filled up my sippy cup that I had because you got to bring your own stuff with whiskey, and the other one offered me a cigarette, and I don't smoke, but he rolled it custom for me, and I was like, all right, I'll try a drag. And then I go down there, and I end up at this other place, like a small tent that had like this cool disco setup that was really really futuristic. And people are just like cramming into this thing, dancing, and then there's like a outside like bar that had flames coming out. I met this French guy, like the most charismatic dude that I've ever come across. Big bearded guy, glasses, thick accent, and he's just like he's drinking this flask. I'm like, "What you got?" He's like, "I got honey wine. You want some?" I'm like, "Sure." I'm like, "Oh my god." And he's like, "You want some more?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Take as much as you want." I'm like, "Okay." And he's like, he drinks it, he finishes off, gets more. And he's like, "Oh." let's just say I had a really bad hangover that morning, the following morning, and so like I joined a camp of 40 people ish called the Cirque du Soleil, and the motto is, or the theme, their slogan is spiritual by day and sexy by night, and they just did the most extravagant stuff that you can imagine during the day, and they had what was called a lounge. So like a lounge with pillows and stuff where people would just come and nap and cuddle and like sleep all throughout the day. And then the other part, which is connected, was like the dance floor, or that's where like the workshops were held. There's tarot card reading. There was like a high tea party, leather working shop. There was like this bum smacking session where people had their bums spanked towards like this techno music. Then there was like
Towards
this,
techno. That's
yeah, it was great. I was like, what the fuck is going on? I see this girl getting her cheeks scratched and then they're all red. I'm like, that's pretty epic. Then there was this bass and bubbles dance party outside, and people showing up in like barely anything. Like people are straight up naked at this event, roaming around and having a great time, and the bubbles everywhere. And then the Viking group came, like full Viking raid, and then jacked some of our people as prisoners. Just like this shit was incredible, absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And then there was like a kind of like a sun shower, and I was doing kitchen duty, which was actually fun. All the duties I did were just so much fun. So I went, because it started raining. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go collect some chairs, put it under the tent. I go out, like fucking 20 people are dancing naked out in the sun with the rain coming down. I'm just like, oh my god, what am I missing out on? And they were hosting also like breast painting, or vaginal and breast painting. So like they could like, no, sorry, the vaginal painting or genital painting is coming up next time, where people like have a mirror and they can draw their genitals together in a group, and then the breast painting. It was going on for like an hour or so, and then a whole bunch of people were running around their chest, all painted up. And it's
very interesting. Like to me, what stands out is like the drugs and the sexuality are perhaps like an inseparable component of like an experience like this. But it's always that's the thing that makes me the most nervous. Like if I was to go to a place, like I like the pillow lounge and the disco and the dancing and all that, like all these things. But then whenever there's like drugs around or like nudity, it like that heightens my sense of like danger or something almost, because just that stuff is so rare, I guess. But I guess that's part of what all of this is about, is just making us feel less, intimidated or scared by just what truly is ourselves, our naked bodies or whatever. That we shouldn't be like afraid, or that's wrong or something, like I guess society often tells us like it's wrong to not have clothes on or something like that, and so I appreciate like all this stuff that's happening. But it is interesting to me, like I wonder because if you could separate the stuff that's kind of like not really allowed in general society, like the drugs and the like there's an age limit for that stuff, the nudity, if you can separate those things, then you could deliver the experience kind of to everyone in a way where you don't have to like check IDs or adult only or something. But maybe you can't. Maybe the two things have to go hand in hand somehow.
Yeah, I don't. I see. You don't really. There are like nudist places where you can go, like beaches and stuff, where you don't really need the drugs. But they're like small communities, and they're very like few and far between. I don't think there's any in Ottawa, for instance. But like at this place, like they might offer you something, but if you say no, they're like, "Are you sure?" Yeah, okay. It's always good to have somebody sober with us to make sure that we know what reality is. Fucking awesome. Like they actually appreciate someone being sober with them. I was offered lots of different drugs, and then just like, nope, appreciate it, but I'll stick to my booze. Which, yeah, I gotta cut out.
It's good. It's good to hear. There's like mentioned there's a medic there as well. Like that's important, because I feel like you could get pretty messed up or something accidentally.
Yeah, there's a first aid, and then there's something called a sanctuary. So that's what I volunteered for, where people like have bad trips or they're just having a really rough time. But this community, 500 people, so wired-tight that nobody had to come to the sanctuary.
Wow.
It was like manned, or whatever the correct term is nowadays. All the shifts were filled. It was checked. There was somebody there all the time, and not one person had to come and require the sanctuary treatment. But they have it set up just in case, so that people can find relief. So like they have like one guy actually came to the first aid tent when I was talking to a friend there, saying, and he knew his drugs. Eh? He's just like, so I just had this particular drug. He said a bunch of letters and numbers, and the dose for inhaling is 20 or 10 milligrams, and I ate it. And if you eat it, or I could be switching this up. He's like, I screwed up the dosage, and then I also took 10 milligrams of this. And he's like, so I'm actually worried that because I screwed up the dosage that I'm going to be really messed up. So I want to give you the heads up. I'm going to go have some fun. And if I'm back here, at least you know what's up, and hopefully you can take care of me, right? So that person goes off. My friend looks at me. I'm like, well, I'd probably, look up to see if he is going to need some medical care, like outside of the first aid. He needs to go to the hospital. So, like, just did a quick check. Nope. Lethal dosage is 30 milligrams or over 30 milligrams. And so we're just like, oh, good. We hope we don't see him. And I had a sanctuary shift at like 12 in the morning to 3. And I'm just there. I'm like, I might see this guy. I might not. And I didn't end up seeing him. So I was like in and out of sleep mode because I was exhausted. Sleep dep is really it's hard not to be sleep deprived when your camp is party central. Earplugs only do so much, right? So what I want to share is that experience is life changing, absolutely life changing. Being able to peel away your armor or your layers to be your authentic self and to express yourself the way you really want to is the most therapeutic and healthy thing that you can do. Also, discovering a sense of community, even eventually family, because this camp could become family over time. Being a part of something bigger than yourself and being able to contribute to that, because this community is all about bringing your gifts and what you can contribute. That's what communities are about. And they are appreciated for what you bring to the table. And if you don't have any special skills, just the fact that you're showing up and volunteering your time and being present for other people, that is important in itself. But if you do bring, like, say, a workshop, so I'm going to probably bring out an old grand piano next time, a baby grand. Like, I'll find something for $500, get it tuned. I might even learn how to tune my own piano for this, because I might just go on these events with this camp, and I'll perform during the high tea, or late in the evening when the party shut down. I will offer piano music for people chilling in the lounge all night. Like, I can play all night long. It's not a problem. To me, like, that's what I could offer. I could also run yoga too. So I'm like thinking about what I can contribute. I'm also a leader and also really good at organizing, and everybody can benefit from my skills organizing because I'm just wired tight, man. I know what I'm doing. So I'm gonna.
How would you get, like, logistically? How do you get the grand piano like out there? You rent like a truck or something?
Yeah, I rent the truck. I have someone help me load it up. Probably need 2 people, but I've seen how it's done professionally. And I need some straps, and I would invest in the gear, obviously, if I'm going to be doing this. And it's going to be basically travel piano. It's going to be stored on the side when I'm not using it, because I'll have my grand piano as well. It might even be the current 96-year-old grand piano I have when I buy a Yamaha. Because no one's going to give me what it's worth, right? I think it's worth $2,000 to $3,000, but no one's going to buy it if it's that old. But so the main takeaway I want to bring is it was actually experiencing that and coming back into civilization and realizing how armored and closed off people are.
Yeah, I was going to say that makes a lot of sense. Like, now that you've seen people actually be themselves, when you come back, there's a jarring thing where it's like, now it's so much more apparent how closed off everybody is. And that's actually, I wonder if that can be like harmful in a way, like, because once you've, it's sort of like once you learn the truth, it's just every day, everyone you meet, you just want to shake them, but you can't.
No, what I mean is that it's harmful to not have the ability to express yourself in a community and just be in civilization and be like disconnected, because some people are lucky and have communities and family and all the other stuff. A lot of people don't, and it's actually very unhealthy to be isolated and alone. And people who suffer from trauma do that. They isolate themselves. I know lots of people who isolate themselves. I don't even feel worthy of having a pet. At least that's how I used to feel. Now I'm going to reassess those feelings.
Oh, yeah.
And I why not? Like, I'm going to, like, all these old things I was telling myself that wasn't good enough or not worthy enough of actually feeling good. like I'm challenging these thoughts and where they come from. So, but yeah, like I went into work and I'm like having to resist the urge to hug people because at this event everybody's hugging everybody. It's just like what you do,
Yeah.
and it creates a safe space between people. Like when you hug them and you hug them like authentically, or like you actually hold on to them and want to hold on to them for more than 3 seconds, like you're not squirming away. It shows that you trust that person with your safety, with your whole being. And when you do that, it just seems like the barriers melt. And people who were hugging me on a regular basis, I had a great connection with, talking to all the time. I felt safe around them, and we were drawn to each other. There was other people who just would not make eye contact, no matter how many times I went by them and I looked at them. They just would not create the opportunity for me to connect. And if they don't want that, I'm not going to force it on them because I can read body language. But if they would have looked at me and talked and we would have hugged, pretty sure whatever insecurities they had, whether they were intimidated by me, would have all just melted away. I don't know. It just I'm at work and I'm seeing people and I'm like going in, just about to go in for a hug, catching myself and throwing my arm out for a handshake, right? But Susie, who's my old university buddy, Dakota, I saw him and I just went right in for a hug, didn't even think twice, and like caught him off guard and squeezed the shit out of him. He was in uniform and I was in civvies, right? But then leaving the place, I almost hugged my friggin' coworker who's just beside me, and then the other guy I used to, well, I do know, but who works
Yeah.
away from where I. So it's just like, why? That may not go away. I hope it doesn't go away. Like I don't want it to go away. So like I'm trying to keep the momentum going and be a part of the community and maintain contact with these people. And I'm seeking. So I joined the burner community in Ottawa. I'm about to basically open my home up to somebody for a month and a half, like a small family that is in transition, who I haven't met, but I know they're part of the community. Because I like the idea of giving. Like that's what I'm about. Like I'm about helping people, right? So I want to open my home up to that because I'm not going to be spending my summer here. I don't want to spend my summer here. I want to be traveling and doing stuff, right?
Oh yeah.
So this is this is eye opening. This is life changing. This experience, not just for me, but for other people. There are people who are terrified to go to this thing, have done it, and have just basically transformed. And the more you do this, the more you're able to peel back the layers. I'm telling you, man, like my wardrobe's changing. I wear gray and plain, boring colors. I'm getting extravagant hats. I'm going for colors now. I'll wear pink fucking pants, bro. I see men with pink pants, and I'm like, that looks damn good. I want the vibrant stuff. I don't want. I have 2 pairs of gray pants from Eddie Bauer, and that's it. And they're exactly the same. I also got a pair of jeans, but
Oh yeah.
like, and my shirts are all plain, with except for a couple checkered items, which are in my mind plain. There's no special patterns. There's no vibrant colors. And that actually shows like I'm conformed, I'm armored, when really I want to wear colors. And eventually,
Yeah.
when I go to these events, I'm gonna get fur coats, man. I'm rocking top hats, fur coats. I'm gonna eventually get to the point where I'm rocking a thong only. I want to get to that point, bro. Spiked
Thong and
thong,
fur coat.
spiked thong in the front. Have spikes, man. Like the one guy I was talking about, the French dude there who gave me the sugar wine. They were doing like a bum wrestling event, so everybody was like fighting each other with their asses. It was pretty entertaining. And it was in like this little blow up outdoor pool. One guy had like a penis mic, and he was so fucking stoned, you didn't understand what he was saying. Round two, round three, like it was the funniest thing I ever saw, man. It was, he was just like talking into this massive penis mic, and then the French buddy of mine, like big beard, thick, huge glasses, wearing like a cowboy hat, and he's rocking a bra and a dress, like a lower, like a skirt, and he was doing like the signage, like round one. Coming from,
Yeah.
it's the fucking funniest thing I have ever
Yeah,
seen.
I love like random things. Like when I can just like be at an event and just like look at what's before me and think about how out of context and totally random it is, that's one of the funniest like things that I find, like just like visual comedy that's just like nonsensical visuals and like events that take place are yeah, it's like one of, I think that's like a growing form of humor, like now that we have like, it's like the pure internet culture or something, but this is like manifested in reality as that same culture.
So, man, I'm running out of time. I still got to produce this song, and I don't want to be too tired for it because I actually want it to still flow. We get to keep talking about it because I think this is a bit of a
Yeah.
journey, right? I want to see if the momentum keeps up. I want to see like if it eventually people are just like I'm talking to one out with a friend doing some axe throwing, just and that's what was holding me up tonight. And because they have kids and this is when they're available, and the rest of the week I'm busy. Uh, so like I'm mentioning this stuff, and they're like, well, this high is eventually going to go away. And this person's a psychologist, registered psychologist with their own practice. So I'm like, I hope not. I don't want it to, and I think if I keep the momentum up and I keep trying to be engaged in the community, that it won't. So I'm gonna sign up for another event and start like looking forward to that and working towards like hanging out with the people from Ottawa and just continue the momentum, right? So let's talk again next week, and I want to check in and let you know how it's going.
Yeah, it sounds good. Yeah, good chat today, and then I'll see you next week.
Okay, buddy. Take care.
All right, see you.